वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा शील प्रभुपदा जीवन विश्वपाद परमहंस प्रभु सदस्य श्रीमती स्वामी ग्रेसी से भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन संस्थापक शील प्रभुपाद की जय। जीवन विश्वपाद परमहंस प्रभु सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। जीवन विश्वपाद श्री गौर किशोर दास महाराज की जय। जीवन विश्वपाद सच्चिदानंद श्री भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। जीवन विश्वपाद वैष्णव शर्मा श्री जगन्नाथ दास महाराज की जय। जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। ब्रह्मचार्य दास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत दादा शिव सादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपिनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिगोवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री गौरांगी बैंगलोरेश्वर भगवान की जय। श्री मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वंदे की जय। श्री हरनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। इस्कॉन वर्तमान गुरु वंदे की जय। समावेद भक्तवृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंद हरि all glories to the assembled ones, all glories to the assembled ones, all glories to the assembled ones, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Apatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtigi. Hare Krishna. Welcome you all to this Saturday morning Srimad Bhagavatam summary study. Today we are discussing from chapter 7, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 17, part 1, the first half of the chapter is entitled Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth. So we see from the previous chapter that Prithu Maharaj was enthroned as a king, and there were many professional reciters who sang the glories of Prithu Maharaj, because Prithu Maharaj was a great devotee of the Lord. So they glorified him by singing his good qualities. Now we start here from chapter number 17, text 1. Now there are no purport for many of the slokas here, so I might read the important purports. Text number 1. Maitreya uvacha evam sa bhagavan vainyah kyapito gunakarmavihi chandayam asatan kamhai patipujya vinandaya cha. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The great sage Maitreya continued, in this way the reciters who are glorifying Prithu Maharaj readily described his qualities and chivalrous activities. At the end, Maharaj Prithu offered them various presentations with all due respect and worshipped them adequately. So we see these professional reciters, they glorify Prithu Maharaj, describing his qualities and chivalrous activities. At the end, Prithu Maharaj also offered them a lot of gifts and presentations with all due respect and worshipped them adequately. So, to begin with, Prithu Maharaj's father, Vena, was an atheist, and he stopped all the sacrifices due to which there was a scarcity of rains, resulting in shortage of grains and natural resources. So when Prithu Maharaj was enthroned as king, all the citizens, they appreciated him. Point is that kings should take example of Lord Rama when he was there, when he ruled the kingdom, where there was no scarcity of anything, and that is why citizens used to call as Ramarajya, because during Lord Rama's rule, everyone was happy. There was no old age, no disease. The king protected all the citizens like his own children. So many times Rama would cover himself and go out to find out how the citizens looked at him as a king and see if anyone was unhappy. He wouldn't like to see even a single citizen as unhappy. This was a great quality of Lord Rama. So it is said that all the kings who should take example from Lord Rama and follow his path. Text number 2. Brahmana pramukhan varnan britya madhya purodashaha pauran Jnana Padan Shrenihi Prakriti Samapujayat. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Prithu, thus satisfied and offered all respects to all the leaders of the Brahmanas and other castes, to his servants, to his ministers, and to the priests, citizens, general countrymen, people from other communities, admirers, and others, and thus they all became happy. So Prithu Maharaj met all these respective leaders of the society, like the leaders of the Brahmanas and other castes also, then his servants, his ministers, his priests, citizens in general, and people from other communities, admirers, and so forth. And they all were very happy to see Prithu Maharaj and being enthroned as king. Text number 3. Viduravacha Kasmat Dadharak Rupam Dharitri Bahurupini Yam Dudoha Pratasyat Tatra Ko Vatso Dohanam Chakim. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vidura inquired from the great sage Maitreya, my dear Brahmana, since Mother Earth can appear in different shapes, why did she take the shape of a cow? And when King Prithu milked her, who became the calf and what was the milking pot? So here we see Vidura inquiring from Maitreya. Mother Earth took the form of a cow. So he's asking, why did Mother Earth take the shape of a cow? And when he milked her, who became the calf, and what was the milking pot? Because generally a cow gives milk when there is a calf, and of course we require a milking pot also. Text number 4. Prakritya Vishama Devi Tirtha Kritadena Samakatam Tasya Metyam Ayam Devaha Kashyat Hetor Apahara. Translation is Bhagavad Gita. The surface of the earth is by nature low in some places and high in others. How did King Prithu level the surface of the earth, and why did the king of heaven Indra steal the horse meant for sacrifice? So we see that Prithu Maharaj was performing sacrifices. He already performed 99 sacrifices, and he was about to perform the 100th sacrifice when Indra, the king of heaven, stole his horse meant for the sacrifice. So here Vidura is asking Maitreya, how did Prithu Maharaj level the surface which was uneven, which was high in some places and low in other places? And also, why is it that the king of heaven, Indra, stole the horse meant for sacrifice? Indra is always envious of anyone who is performing some austerities because he's afraid of losing his position. The moment he sees that somebody is performing a lot of austerities, he feels that the other person might take over his position as Indra. So that's why he's envious of those who perform a lot of austerities. Text number 5. Sanat Kumarat Bhagavato Brahman Brahmavid Uttamat Labdva Jnanam Sadjnanam Rajarishi Kam Gatim Gataha. Translation Bhagavad Gita. The great saintly king Maharaj Prithu received knowledge from Sanat Kumara, who was the greatest Vedic scholar. After receiving knowledge to be applied practically in his life, how did the saintly king attain his desired destination? So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions some important points. Like, there are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas as per Padma Purana. These are, one comes from Lord Brahma, that is Brahma Sampradaya, which is ours. We belong to the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, which is part of the Brahma Sampradaya, comes on disciplic succession from Lord Brahma. Then there is a Rudra Sampradaya that comes from Lord Shiva. Then there is Kumara Sampradaya that comes from the 4 Kumaras. And then there is Sri Sampradaya that comes from the Goddess of Fortune. So this way, there are 4 authorized Sampradayas. And it is mentioned that anyone who takes mantras from these bona fide Sampradayas, the mantras will be effective. But otherwise, in Kali Yuga, we find so many Sampradayas who have cropped up, and they also give mantras, but the mantra will not have effect in Kali Yuga. So the other Sampradayas, they do not observe the Vedic rules and regulations, and they they get addicted to all kinds of sinful activities. But still they continue to offer the mantras, and people who want to be cheated get cheated from these sampradayas. So that's why one has to be very, very careful. But if the desire is genuine to accept the mantra from a bona fide sampradaya, the Lord who is situated in the heart as Paramatma guides the conditioned soul to a sampradaya which is suitable for the soul, looking at his qualities. So one should not accept mantras from other sampradayas. And Prithu Maharaj showed by his own example by taking the mantra from the Kumara, Sanat Kumara. He accepted Sanat Kumara as a spiritual master. Also, is mentioned as to how the king rules the kingdom based on the advice of the Brahmanas. These Brahmanas were all well versed in the scriptures, and they will not go outside of the scriptures. So the king used to rule the kingdom based on the guidance of the Brahmanas. And then the king, when he rules the kingdom, he was giving the king is Kshat, Kshatriya. Kshat means to protect. So the king is supposed to protect not only the citizens, but all the living entities. And these Brahmanas were all well versed in the scriptures, and they were not just Brahmanas by birth. In fact, Srila Prabhupada has quoted many times in his classes that he made thousands of Malayachas as Brahmanas. Because without the Brahmanas, the society is not complete. So Brahmanas are the crucial factor in having the society complete, because the king has to rule based on the advice of the Brahmanas. This is how the uh, kingdom was being ruled. So there was a perfect harmony within the Varnasrama system. The king would rule based on the advice of Brahmanas, and then the king would protect all the citizens. He would protect the Vaishyas by giving protection to the animals and cows and etc. And then all the citizens would also be protected. This is how the kingdom was ruled in the Esther years. But nowadays, there is no king who listens to the advice of the Brahmanas. And Brahmanas are also not very well versed in the scriptures. Mostly those who claim themselves to be Brahmanas are those who consider themselves to be born in a Brahmanical family. They may not be having the Brahmanical qualities. So taking mantra from other sampradayas has no effect. Rather, it can have a negative effect on those who are taking it. So therefore, it is said that people should not take mantra from nonsense sampradayas. But people who are indulging in sense gratification, they have feel a shortcut to reach these other sampradayas who also indulge in sense gratification. So those who are indulging in sense gratification, they approach these sampradayas and take mantras. But one should not accept mantras from other sampradayas. So Prithu Maharaj accepted Sanat Kumara as his spiritual master. Text number 6 and 7. I'll read the translation. Prithu Maharaj was a powerful incarnation of Lord Krishna's potencies. Consequently, any narration concerning his activities is surely very pleasing to hear, and it produces all good fortune. As far as I am concerned, I am always your devotee as well as a devotee of the Lord, who is known as Adokshaja. Please therefore narrate all the stories of King Prithu, who in the form of the son of King Vena milked the cow-shaped earth. So here there are a lot of important points. I'll repeat again. Prithu Maharaj was a powerful incarnation of Lord Krishna's potencies. That means Prithu Maharaj, there are different types of incarnations of the Lord, Leela Avataras, Purusha Avatara, etc. But Prithu Maharaj was an empowered incarnation of the Lord. Just like Parashuram was an empowered incarnation, Prithu Maharaj was also an empowered incarnation of Lord Krishna's potencies. So therefore, Vidura is asking Maitreya regarding the narration of his activities, because activities of the Lord and his incarnations are very inspiring to hear. So he says, I am your devotee as well as a devotee of the Lord who is known as Adokshaja. So Prithu Maharaj, Vidura is telling Maitreya that I am your devotee and also a devotee of the Lord who is known as Adokshaja. Adokshaja means those who cannot be understood by our material senses. So Lord is known as Adokshaja because Lord cannot be understood by our common material senses. So therefore, Prithu Maharaj, Vidura tells Maitreya, please therefore narrate all the stories of King Prithu, who in the form of the son of King Vena milked the cow-shaped earth. So the Lord Krishna, we see in the purport, Lord Krishna is mentioned as Avatari. That means Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all other incarnations of the Lord are called avatars, and they all emanate from Lord Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in this, giving a quote from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 8, Aham sarvasya pavo matta sarvam parvartate. That means he says that I am the source of all the spiritual and the material world. Everything emanates from me. So Krishna is the origin of all the incarnations, all the creations. So as far as the material world is concerned, here Srila Prabhupada mentioned that there are three guna avatars. That is Brahma, Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. Now, Lord Brahma is in the mode of passion, and he takes care of the creation. Maintenance is taken care of by Lord Vishnu, but it is said that maintenance is much more difficult than creation and annihilation. And so it requires one to be in the mode of goodness. So Lord Vishnu is situated in the mode of goodness, and Lord Shiva is in the mode of ignorance, and he takes charge of annihilation. So that's how Puthu Maharaj is also an incarnation of those qualities of Lord Krishna, by which one rules over conditioned souls. So Adokshaja means beyond the perception of material senses. We cannot understand the Lord by our present material senses. One can understand the Lord only by the process of bhakti. So that is why the Lord is known as Adokshaja. Nor can one understand the Lord by mental speculation. Therefore, a person with a poor fund of knowledge cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, one can tend to develop impersonalism. That's why one should refer the scriptures. That's why it is said Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. The scriptures define the form of the personality of Godhead, and that has to be heard from Sadhu and Guru. That's why it is called Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru, are three important vital aspects for understanding knowledge. Text number 8. Suta uvacha chodito vidurena vasudeva katam prati prashasyatam pritama mana maitreha pratyabhasata. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Suta Goswami continued, when Vidura became inspired to hear of the activities of Lord Krishna in his various incarnations, Maitreya also being inspired and being very pleased with Vidura began to praise him. Then Maitreya spoke as follows. So the purport is mentioned as to how Krishna Katha is something that is very much inspiring to the person who hears and also to the person who speaks. So Maitreya became very, very inspired when Vidura asked these questions about Puthu Maharaj, because they are all related to the pastimes of the Lord. So anything related to the Lord is called Krishna Katha. And topics regarding Lord Krishna are spiritually so inspiring that the reciter and hearer, they never become exhausted. They would like to continue the discussion. There is no point at which one gets satiated. Satiated means satisfaction. So there is no limit for satisfaction in hearing Krishna Katha, and no satisfaction for even speaking Krishna Katha. Both are inspiring and they would like to continue, so forth. And the more Maitreya is encouraged, Vidura is asking questions, and the more Maitreya Rishi, Vidura asks questions, the more Maitreya Rishi is encouraged and inspired to speak. So spiritual talks are such that it never makes one feel tired. So Maitreya Rishi did not feel disgusted, but rather felt encouraged to speak at greater length. Text number 9. Maitreya Uvacha Yada Bhishiktaha Pratur Anga Viprair Amantrito Janatayas Chapalaha Praja Niranye Kshiti Prishtayetya Kshut Kshama Deha Pratim Abhyavochan. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, at the time King Prithu was enthroned by the great sages and Brahmanas and declared to be the protector of the citizens, there was a scarcity of food grains. The citizens actually became skinny due to starvation. Therefore, they came before the king and informed him of their real situation. So as I mentioned before, Vena was a very cruel king. He was an atheist and he was also a very cruel king. He stopped all the sacrifices of the Brahmanas. And as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, grains come from rain and rain comes from sacrifices. So when he stopped all the Brahmanas for performing sacrifices, there was no rain, because of which there was no grains available. So when Prithu Maharaj was enthroned as the king, at that time there was no grains available. So the citizens all became very, very thin. So Maitreya is mentioning that Vidura was inspired to hear of these activities, and the citizens came and met Prithu Maharaj. And when they came to see him, they were already became very, very skinny due to starvation, because the grains were not there. They became very thin. So they came, met the king, and informed him of the real situation. So that is why it is said that when the Lord designed the Varnasrama system, the king should follow these Varnasrama systems. And because Vena was not prepared to listen to the words of the Brahmanas, he became atrocious and he stopped all the sacrifices. And so there was scarcity of grains. We see even today, because many places there are no grains, many places there are surplus, and people say that because the population is increasing, that is why there is a shortage of grains. But Srila Prabhupada very clearly mentions that there is no shortage of grains. Rather, it is, we'll see in the second half of this chapter also, that Mother Earth says that all the grains have been were being hoarded by the unscrupulous people, which we see today. Many people hoard grains. As a result, there is a black market and the prices go up and so forth. There may not be any actual shortage of grains, but people create artificial shortage and increase the prices and create scarcity. So the Brahmanas are considered to be the heads of the society, and therefore they are situated in the topmost in the social position. That means among the four varnas and four ashramas, the Brahmanas are the highest because they are full of knowledge of the Shastras, not material knowledge, but knowledge of the Shastras. So this Varnashrama system has been designed by the Lord so that if one follows this Varnashrama system, uh, it is God made, so there cannot be any fault in this system. So if the king follows this system, then the citizens will be happy, the king will also be happy. When the citizens are happy, then the king will also be happy. Whereas in the case of King Vena, when he ruled, the Brahmanas were very, very upset. In fact, they killed through Vena through their Brahminical powers. So the Brahmanas were not only empowered, were not only knowledgeable, but they had the empowerment to kill if somebody was not following the scriptures. So King Vena, being a very notorious ruler, the Brahmanas killed him through the Brahminical powers. And then they would normally select a ruler by testing his qualifications. In other words, the Brahmanas or the intelligent person would control the monarchical powers. That means the Brahmanas had powers to control the powers of the king. The king would rule based on the advice of Brahmanas, but Brahmanas had control over the king because of their knowledge. So here the Brahmanas elected King Prithu to the throne as the protector of the citizens. As I mentioned earlier, the king is a Kshatriya. Kshat means to protect. And a king is supposed to protect not only the citizens, but all the living entities and see that all the living entities are engaged in their Varnasrama Dharma, by which then there is adequate production of grains and other natural resources. So the Kshatriyas would take charge of protecting the people in general, and under the protection of the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas would protect the cows. That means when a king gives protection to all the citizens, the Vaishyas protect the cows. Then the cows produce food grains and these are distributed. And the Shudras or the working class help the other three classes by manual labor. This is how the Varnasrama system works. Text 10 and 11. I'll read the translation. Dear King, just as a tree with a fire burning in the hollow of a trunk gradually dries up, we are drying up due to the fire of hunger in our stomachs. You are the protector of surrendered souls, and you have been appointed to give employment to us. Therefore, we have all come to you for protection. You are not only a king, but the incarnation of God as well. Indeed, you are the king of all kings. You can give us all kinds of occupational engagements, for you are the master of our livelihood. Therefore, O King of all kings, please arrange to satisfy our hunger by the proper distribution of food grains. Please take care of us, lest we soon die for want of food. So, it is mentioned that a king's duty is to protect in every respect. So the citizens are pleading with the king, saying that just as a tree with a fire burning in the hollow of trunk gradually dries up. That means when there is a fire in a tree trunk, the tree dries up. Similarly, the citizens are claiming that they are all dying due to the fire of hunger in their stomach. And then they are pleading that you are the protector of the surrendered souls and you have been appointed to give employment. So the king's duty is to give employment to all the citizens, whether Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, or Sudras. The king, Brahmanas, the king's duty is to give employment to all the citizens. When the citizens are employed, then automatically there is a production of grains and every natural resource. Then they are pleading that we have come to you for protection. You are not only a king, but the incarnation of God as well. That means the citizens knew that Prithu Maharaj was an empowered incarnation of the Lord. So they are saying that you are not only a king, but an incarnation of God. You are the king of all kings, and you can give us all kinds of occupational engagements, but you are the master of our livelihood. So they are pleading that the king give them engagements. Therefore, O King of Kings, please arrange to satisfy our hunger by proper distribution of food grains. So they are pleading with the king to ensure a proper distribution of food grains. Otherwise, they would die soon for want of food. Srila Prabhupada mentions that the king is employed in the citizens are to be employed in the state by the king. It is a duty of the Brahmanas to elect a proper king. And it is the duty of the king to ensure all the other ashramas or varnas and ashramas are properly engaged. That means it is the duty of the king to ensure that the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras are always engaged in their respective occupational duties. And when the citizens are allowed to perform their duties, then everything is perfect. But here, nobody had any engagement, so they were still unemployed. As a result, what happens is that they were lazy and they could not produce sufficient food to satisfy the hunger. So when people are perplexed in this way, they should approach the head of the government, and the president or king should take immediate action to mitigate the distress. Text number 12. Maitreya uvacha putu prajanam karunam nishamya paridevitam dirgam dadyau kurushreshta nimittam sa patyata. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After hearing this lamentation and seeing the pitiable condition of the citizens, King Prithu contemplated this matter for a long time to see if he could find out the underlying cause. So Prithu Maharaj, being a king, when he saw the citizens lamenting, he saw that they were all struggling to maintain their health due to lack of food. And so he contemplated on the subject matter for a very long time. So he has to find a solution when citizens approach. A king cannot say that I can't help, like the way kings say. So there is a quote in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, 5th chapter, 18th, where Lord Rishabdev instructs his sons, Gurur nasasyat, Svajano nasasyat, Pita nasasyat, Janani nasasyat, Daivam tatsyan, na patischasasyan, na mochayet yap samupeta mrityum. It's an important verse here. Prabhupada normally quotes in many of his classes. The translation says, one who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipable demigod. So it is very clear that one should not take the responsibility of being a king or a spiritual master or a father or a mother or a husband or a worshipable demigod unless and until one can deliver his dependence from the cycle of birth and death. So delivering the dependence from the cycle of birth and death means making everyone as a devotee. So when one makes everyone a devotee, then automatically the citizens become delivered from the cycle of birth and death. And Prithu Maharaj was no exception because he always asked the citizens to glorify the Lord. We see today that no king is asking, in fact, most of the kings are atheists. Even if they are not atheists, the kings don't know who is God. They don't know what is to be prayed, how to be prayed, whom to pray, etc. So that is why there is a chaos in the society today, because the lack of good kings, and the good kings are not there because the kings don't listen to Brahmanas. So this is a quote that kings are very important personals in the development of a society. Text number 12. Text number 13. Iti vyavasito buddhya prakrihita शरासनः संददे विशिखम भूमेः क्रुद्धस्त्रिपुरत आयता. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Having arrived at a conclusion, the king took up his bow and arrow and aimed them at the earth, exactly like Lord Shiva, who destroys the whole world out of danger. So Prithu Maharaj found out that the cause of the scarcity of food grains was that the people, the earth, Mother Earth was not producing sufficient grains to satisfy the hunger of the citizens. So Prithu Maharaj became very, very angry, just like Lord Shiva becomes very angry at the time of annihilation. So Prithu Maharaj got angry and he took up his bow and arrow and then started chasing Mother Earth. So there are, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that there can be many reasons for scarcity of food grains, but one of the important causes is the king itself. If the king is not a devotee of the Lord, then king does not perform sacrifices. So there is a chaos in the society and there is always a shortage of grains and natural resources. So Prithu Maharaj, in his case, he asked all the citizens to glorify the Supreme Lord. That is how a leader should deliver his dependents. Text number 14. प्रवेपमाना धरणी निशम्योदयाय युधम चितम गौ सती अपाद्रवद्बीथा मृगयु Tirtha. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the earth saw that King Prithu was taking his bow and arrow to kill her, she became very much afraid and began to tremble. She then began to flee, exactly like a deer which runs very swiftly when followed by a hunter. Being afraid by King Prithu, she took the shape of a cow and began to run. So here there is a mention as to how, just as mother produces different types of children, male as well as female, Mother Earth produces different varieties of living entities in various shapes. So it is possible for Mother Earth to take on innumerable shapes. And in order to avoid the anger of King Prithu, here Earth took the shape of a cow. And we'll see the reasons why she took the shape of a cow. Because a cow is never to be killed. So Mother Earth thought that it is good to take the shape of a cow because she can avoid Prithu Maharaj killing her. Prithu Maharaj, however, could understand this, but therefore he did not stop chasing the cow-shaped earth. So Prithu Maharaj with his bow and arrow was chasing the cow, and the cow was running helter-skelter, but still he did not give up. He always chased the cow, and she started running. So there's a mention that according to scriptures, there are 7 different types of mothers. I'll give you the details. One is a real mother. The second is the wife of a spiritual master. The third is the wife of a Brahmana. The fourth is the wife of a king. Fifth is a cow. Sixth is the nurse. And seventh is the earth. So this way there are 7 types of mothers, and all of them are mothers and all of them are to be protected. So even by the injunctions of the Shastras, it is said that a stepmother who is a wife of a father is also good as the mother, because the father is also one of the spiritual masters. Of course, in Kali Yuga these days, the multiple marriages are not permitted. So, but however, some communities have many wives, but a stepmother is also considered as a mother itself, and she needs to be treated as good as mother, as per Srila Prabhupada's commentary here. Because the father is one of the spiritual master. The father is looked at as a spiritual master. So all his wives are all mothers. An example is given that Lord Krishna himself had 16,108 wives, And all of them, he treated all of them as the same. He did not look at them, differentiate as a stepmother and so forth. This Krishna did to show that when he performed his pastime, that all stepmothers are treated as mothers. By example, text number 15. Tam anvadavat tadvainyah kupitotyaru nekshanah sharam danushi sandaya yatra yatra papalayate. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Seeing this, Pitu Maharaj became very angry, and his eyes became became as red as the early morning sun. Placing an arrow on his bow, he chased the cow-shaped earth wherever she could run. So Pitu Maharaj, when he saw that the cow was running helter-skelter, he became all the more angry, and he started picking his bow, and he started chasing the cow-shaped earth wherever she would run. Text number 16. Sa vidisho devi rodashi chantaram tayoho davanti tatra tatrainam Dadarshanudyata Yudam. Translation slip of what is. The cow-shaped earth ran here and there in outer space between the heavenly planets and the earth, and wherever she ran, the king chased her with his bow and arrows. So the cow was running, and Puthu Maharaj was also chasing the cow, and the cow ran in the form of a cow. The Mother Earth took the form of a cow, and she was running between the heavenly planets and the earth. But wherever she was running, Puthu Maharaj also chased her with his bow and arrows. Then, when the cow mother saw that Puthu Maharaj was chasing her, she became very, very fearful, and her heart became grieved, and she turned back in helplessness. So finally, when the cow realized that Prithu Maharaj was not sparing her, then she became disheartened, and she exhibited a situation of helplessness. Text number 18. Uvacha cha mahabhagham dharma jnana panna vachalha trahimam api bhutanam palane vashtyato bhavan. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Addressing the great opulent King Prithu as the knower of religious principles and shelter of the surrendered, she said, "Please save me. You are the protector of all the living entities. Now you are situated as the king of this planet." So here in this verse, there is an important point that is mentioned here. Mother Earth as cow, she addresses Prithu Maharaj as Dharmajna. Dharmajna means one who knows the religious principles. Now these religious principles are established by the Lord himself as per Srimad Bhagavatam 5th Canto, Dharmam tu Shakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. So the religious principles are established by the Lord himself, and the Brahmanas are well versed in these religious principles, and they advise the king based on these religious principles. So here, Mother Earth is trying to tell that he is King Prithu is Dharmajna. That means she addresses him as one who knows the principles of religion. So, as per the principles of religion, a cow or a woman, a child or a Brahmana or an old man must be given protection by the king. Of course, king is supposed to protect all the living entities, but there is a mention here that a woman, a cow, a child, a Brahmana, an old man must be given protection by the king and anyone else. So that is the reason Srila Prabhupada mentions that Mother Earth took the form of a cow. She did not take the form of a bull, but she took the form of a cow, because as per this, a cow is also to be protected and a woman is also to be protected. So Mother Earth is pleading that please save me, you are the protector of all living entities and you are the king of this planet. So she was a woman and as well as a cow. So she is addressing the King Prithu as a knower of the principles of religion. So one who knows the principles of religion cannot kill a cow or even a woman. So she reminded Prithu Maharaj that not only was he an incarnation of God, but also he is situated as the king of the earth as well. Therefore, his duty was to excuse her. So the Mother Earth is pleading that the king should excuse her. Text number 19. So another important point is that one who knows religious principles, which dictate that one who is not to, one who surrenders is not to be killed. So apart from the fact that all the others are mentioned have to be protected, like women and cow, etc. One factor of the religious principle is that if one surrenders to the king or to anybody, the other person cannot kill. So here, Mother Earth is surrendering to Pitu Maharaj, saying that you are an incarnation of God and you are the king also as well. Therefore, it is his duty to excuse her. So when she surrenders, then Pitu Maharaj cannot kill her. Text number 19. Satvam jigam sase kasmat deenam akrita kilbisham ahanishyat katam yosham dharmajna iti yo mataha. The cow-shaped earth continued to appeal to the king. I am very poor and I have not committed any sinful activity. I do not know why you want to kill me. Since you are supposed to be the knower of all religious principles, why are you so envious of me and why are you so anxious to kill a woman? So here, Mother Earth is pleading in two ways. One is she says a king who knows religious principles cannot kill anyone who is blindly. Also, she says a woman is not to be killed, even if she commits some sinful activity, because a woman is supposed to be innocent, or woman needs to be protected at any cost. So, Srila Prabhupada always quotes that a woman is first protected by father when she is a small child. Then, when father gives her in marriage to a groom, the woman is supposed to be protected by the husband. And after the husband, earlier the system used to be a vanaprastha. The husband and wife used to go on a vanaprastha. The husband used to take sannyas, and the wife would come back and stay and will be protected by her son. So, under all circumstances, a woman is always under protection of a male member, either as a son or a husband or a father. So this is how a woman is to be protected always. So Mother Earth is pleading that a woman is not to be killed even if she commits some sinful activities. But here, Earth has not committed any sinful activities as such, and she was innocent and that she was a woman. So the king should not kill her. Text number 20. Paranti navai strishu कृतागस्सु अपि जन्तवः Kim Udavad Vidarajan Karuna Dinavatsalaha. Even if translation even if a woman does commit some sinful activity, no one should place his hand upon her. And what to speak of you, dear king, who are so merciful. You are a protector and you are affectionate to the poor. So here Mother Earth is adding some more points. She's appealing to the king that one is that she is not, Mother Earth says that she has not committed any sinful activity. Therefore, she needs to be protected. And one cannot touch a woman at any cost. So this is one important point. And when one surrenders, one should always be protected. The other partisan should protect. And the example is given in Ramayana, where Vibhishan, though he was born in the family of demons, he advised Ravana many times to um, uh, give up Sita Devi. And when Ravana got upset, he asked Vibhishana to leave. But then Vibhishana, when he came, he surrendered to Lord Rama, and Lord Rama accepted him. Though he was born in the family of demons, he became a great devotee of Lord Rama, and which we see that Vibhishana surrendered, and Lord also accepted him as a disciple. So here she says that you are so merciful. A king is supposed to be very, very merciful. So there are four principles: austerity, mercy, truthfulness, and cleanliness, particularly in the human form of life. And she's addressing the king as being all merciful. So you are a protector and you are affectionate to the poor. So one cannot create atrocities on the poor citizens, or should be very merciful and protect them. Text number 21. Mam Vipattiraja Rajaram Navam Yatra Vishvam Patishtitam Atmanam Cha Prajaschemaha Katam Ambasi Dashyasi. Translation Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The cow-shaped earth continued, my dear king, I'm just like a strong boat, and all the paraphernalia of the world is standing upon me. If you break me to pieces, how can you protect yourself and your subjects from drowning? So here there is an important point that is mentioned over that the whole planetary system Srila Prabhupada mentions is like an airplane. And when an airplane flies in the air, there is a balance of the different types of airs. Like one pushes forward, one drags for, then there's a lift, and then there's a weight, and so forth. So the aircraft works on a theory that balance of air keeps the aircraft flying. So similarly, the entire creation of the various planets, they are all floating in the air by the balance of the air, different types of air. So here Mother Earth is telling, I'm just like a strong boat, and all the paraphernalia of the world is standing upon me. So everything that is there we see in the existence is held by Mother Earth. And she says that just like a boat, if a boat is broken into pieces, then everything will fall into the sea. So if that is the case, if Prithu Maharaj is inspired to kill Mother Earth, she says that how will you protect, if you kill me, what will happen to all the citizens, because you're supposed to be affectionate to the poor? Everyone will fall on the Garbhodaka river. So we'll understand what this Garbhodaka river is. Lord, when he expands as Sri Mahavishnu, from, of course, not directly from Krishna to Balaram, Balaram to Chaturvyuha expansion such as Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pratyumna, and Aniruddha. From the Sankarshna, he further expands as Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pratyumna, and Aniruddha. From the second Sankarshna, the Lord expands as Sri Mahavishnu. Then from Mahavishnu, he expands as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. And from Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, he expands as Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. So, as Sri Mahavishnu, he lies in the causal ocean. Just like there is an ocean of water, there is an ocean of causes. So, as Karanodaka Sai Vishnu or Sri Mahavishnu, he lies in the ocean of Karna ocean. And from him, he further expands as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu and enters into each and every universe as a super soul of the universe. Just as the soul is active in our body, the body is active. Similarly, the Lord, as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, enters into each and every universe as a super soul. And that is one of the reasons that the universe is floating. Otherwise, such a big, heavy weight object cannot be floating in the air. So that Garbhodaka water is where Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu lies on the Garbha water. That is what is mentioned in the purport. So from his abdomen, a lotus stem grows, and all the planets within the universe are floating in the air, supported by the lotus stem. So she says that if a planet is destroyed, everything will fall into the water of Garbha ocean. So therefore, she warned King Prithu Maharaj that he could gain nothing by destroying her. Indeed, by killing her, she says that all the citizens and everything that is there will fall on the Garbha water. In other words, outer space may be compared to a ocean of air, and every planet is floating just like a boat or island floating in the ocean. So that's the whole cosmic manifestation is partially explained in reference by the cow-shaped earth. So we see until now, Mother Earth is giving many reasons, many excuses as to why King Prithu should not kill her. So in this particular sloka, she explains that the king should be, if the king kills Mother Earth, all the living entities and everything that is there, the existing in the Earth planet, everything will collapse and fall into the Garbha ocean, and everyone will die. So in other words, she is asking for protection by the king by mentioning that if he kills Mother Earth, everyone will also be killed. So this is how she is protecting, asking the king to protect her and her subjects from drowning. So planets are all called dvipas or islands, and sometimes they are like just like boats. So the whole cosmic manifestation is represented by in the form of these islands, and they are all in the example is given about just as a cow-shaped earth, all others are also withheld in the cosmic manifestation by the Lord Himself. One is by this as a super soul, he enters into the Garbhodaka ocean, all the universe as Garbhodaka in the when he lies in the Garbhodaka ocean, and if Mother Earth is killed, everyone will fall on to the Garbha ocean, and everyone will automatically be killed. So with this, I conclude the class for today because I've taken 2-3 extra slokas because of the subject. The remaining part of it will be taken care of by the next speaker on the next Saturday. So on the subject that I have covered today, there was not very many purport, so I have tried to cover as much as possible. Anyone has got any questions or comments so far, you can ask me.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Dandat Pranam.
No problem.
Actually, Mother Earth was not able to produce grains because there were no rains.
Yes.
Then that is so clear. Prithu Maharaj should have understood no why he is unnecessarily troubling Mother Earth.
As you will see in the following slokas, Mother Earth, she takes the form of a cow and he arranges for a calf. And then at that time, the cow produces grains as well as all natural resources. So Prithu Maharaj is an incarnation of God Himself. It's not that he is not does not know about it, but then as a pastime, it is given that because when King Vena was killed, the sages considered that Prithu Maharaj was the best suitable king as per that. So when they considered him as a king, at that time there was a scarcity of grains. So a king also is not a magician, but he is playing the role of a king also. Plus, of course, he's an empowered incarnation. So he also contemplates for a long time on what is the reason for the shortage of grains, and he realizes that Mother Earth is not producing the grains. But as we see with the subjects which will be covered by the next speaker, Mother Earth surrenders to Prithu Maharaj. He protects her and he arranges for a calf and he also arranges for a pot. And then she starts giving abundant rains and natural resources. The point that we must take as a conclusion is that uh, yajnas are a very important aspect of life, and because there was a transition from Vena to Puthu Maharaj, Vena was an atheist, so he stopped all the sacrifices because of which grains were not available, rain was not there. So after Puthu Maharaj chases this cow and she surrenders to him, Puthu Maharaj arranges for the grains to be produced from the cow. This is the understanding.
So it is just a Leela. With full understanding, he did that.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Any questions, comment? Hare Krishna, Prabhu. If there is no question or comment, can I take the class as closed? I finished 10 minutes early because the purport was very less in today's subject.
Thank you so much, Chaitanya Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank
If
you all
there
very
is
much.
no other question, can we end here?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. The class was wonderful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hare
Thank you all
Krishna
very much.
Prabhuji, thank you very much. Dandavat Pranam.